And we come now to 0 hour 30 Universal Time. In the news at this hour, President Bush says the United States Congress must pass his version of a law on questioning terror suspects, or the questioning will end. Mr. Bush says American intelligence agents will refuse to question prisoners if they do not have a law with clear rules. On Thursday, a Senate committee rejected the president's plan. The lawmakers approved a bill that would give prisoners more legal rights than Mr. Bush wants. 3 top senators from Mr. Bush's Republican Party support the bill. General Colin Powell also supports the proposed law. He was the Secretary of State in the first Bush administration. Officials in Iraq say workers will dig defenses around the capital to limit the movement of militants. A spokesman for the Interior Ministry says only 28 roads into Baghdad will be opened. He says the roads will have security positions. An earlier security plan failed to reduce violence in Baghdad. The plan, by American and Iraqi officials, was launched in June. Also on Friday, security forces found at least 50 more bodies in Baghdad. The number of religious killings since Wednesday is now more than 100. Reports say all the victims appear to have been killed in the same way, and 2 American military workers were killed in Iraq on Friday. European Union foreign ministers have welcomed Palestinian plans to form a unity government. It would replace the current one led by Hamas. The EU ministers met in Brussels on Friday to consider possible EU support for the Palestinian unity government. Hamas plans to join with the Fatah party of President Mahmoud Abbas to govern the Palestinian Authority. The foreign minister of Finland says the EU should think of the unity government as a chance to restart the Middle East peace process. The EU ministers agreed to extend a temporary aid program by 3 months. The program lets money reach needy Palestinians while not helping Hamas. A comment by Pope Benedict has angered Muslims across the Middle East and South Asia. On Tuesday, the head of the Catholic Church used an old statement that links Islam with violence. The statement came from a leader of the Byzantine Empire in the 14th century. On Friday, the Parliament of Pakistan approved a measure that says Pope Benedict insulted Islam and the Prophet Muhammad. The Foreign Ministry in Islamabad called a meeting with the ambassador from the Vatican, the headquarters of the Roman Catholic Church. The diplomat said he regrets the sadness the comments have caused. He also said the comments need to be clarified. Lebanon's top Shiite Muslim clergyman demanded an apology directly from the Pope. You are listening to the news in VOA Special English. Spain is planning to send about 200 South Asians back to their native countries. They were caught trying to enter Spain illegally on Thursday. The people were in a boat near the Canary Islands in the Atlantic Ocean. Most of them are believed to be from Pakistan and Sri Lanka. Reports say the South Asians had spent 5 days at sea without food or water. Almost 20 of them needed medical treatment. The South Asians are the first non-African migrants to be seized near the Spanish Canary Islands. In Ivory Coast, people angry about poisonous waste left near their homes have attacked the country's former transport minister. Reports from Abidjan say that Kobena Anaki and his assistant were beaten. The protesters also burned the home of the head of the port where the poisonous waste was unloaded. Hours earlier, Ivory Coast's prime minister and a French company would begin cleaning the waste on Sunday. At least 7 people have died from the poisonous substance. The United Nations Security Council plans to officially discuss human rights and political repression in Burma. This is the first time the situation in Burma will be officially discussed at the United Nations. The United States requested the Security Council action. The officials say these problems have affected countries around Burma, that is, American officials, and those American officials say Burma has had human rights problems for a long time. China opposed the measure. However, it passed on a 10-4 vote. Former Czech President Václav Havel and Nobel Peace Prize winner Desmond Tutu of South Africa presented a report on problems in Burma to the UN late last year. And 2 astronauts have completed their 3rd and final planned spacewalk outside of the International Space Station. The 2 astronauts from the Space Shuttle Atlantis spent 6.5 hours working outside the station on Friday. They attached 2 large devices that collect energy from the sun. The solar panels will provide the space station with a 100% increase in power. It has taken 2 days for the crew to finish the job. And so, briefly now, here again is the major news of this hour. President Bush says the United States Congress must pass his version of a law on questioning terror suspects, or the questioning will end. The Iraqi Interior Ministry says it will dig defenses around Baghdad and close some roads to limit the movements of militants. And a comment by Pope Benedict has angered Muslims across the Middle East and South Asia. So ends the news in VOA Special English.